So, like I predicted many times, Bitcoin dominance got to 60% and it's October, and in my opinion it will start going down very soon, which will trigger the altcoin season. Now let me explain why, and for this let's go on the 4-hour chart. So as you can see, we are still not at the 0.618 extension, which means we still have to go up again to get to that extension, and then we'll see what happens after that. Like I said, yes, we did get to 60%, but we did not get to that extension, so in my opinion the pump is not over and we will most likely get another one soon, but you know, it's not going to be anything too crazy. Now of course, there's also the possibility that we just stopped here and we start going down now, but I don't know, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Now, like I said, Bitcoin dominance will most likely go down in November because if you can remember from my previous few videos, I mentioned that every year in November, Bitcoin dominance goes down. And let me show you some examples. For example, right here, as you can see, we were going up in October and then all of a sudden, when November came around, we went down and we went down from 56% to about 51%. And then we had another bounce in December. Now, of course, this was not a halving year, and you know, if we want to compare what's happening right now to what was happening in the previous cycle, then we have to look at the previous halving year, which is this right here, and as you can see, Bitcoin dominance was doing a similar thing. It was going up in August, September, and October, and then in the middle of November, it just started dropping, and this is when some altcoins actually pumped quite a bit. And then of course, Bitcoin dominance continued to go up in December after that. And then we had the altcoin season start in January. But still, as you can see here, we were not close to the 0.618 extension in November. We were actually very far away from it. So of course, we continued to go up and we continued to go to it. And yeah, we got very close to it and then we got rejected and we had this altcoin season. And if you can remember, most people actually got into crypto when this was happening, not when this right here was happening. And, you know, not many people are talking about crypto right now. And this is why we have not had an altcoin season yet, but I think we'll have one very soon. And the altcoins will finally be able to go in a third wave move to the upside. I will talk about that very soon as well. Before that, I want you to look at the weekly RSI. As you can see, we are currently overbought, and every time we go to the overbought territory, we get a correction after that. So for example, right here, last year, exactly in October, we went overbought. And what do you know? After we got to the overbought territory, we had to cool off. Now, I don't think we'll only cool off like 5%. I think it's very likely that we drop to about, let's say 40% or so to touch this trend line right here. And of course, this is going to take months or maybe even 1 year or so. And then after we do something like this, then when Bitcoin gets the bear market and when the altcoins go in the bear market as well, Bitcoin dominance will start doing something like this. And then in the next cycle, we'll do something like this and like this and like this. And you get the idea. At some point, we will break out of this triangle. I just don't know in what direction we will go. But this is most likely going to take years, so don't bother about that right now. What you need to focus on is the fact that Bitcoin dominance is currently at the 0.618 extension, and it's very likely that we start getting rejected now. Now, there's also the possibility that Bitcoin dominance continues to go up for another 2 weeks or so. And why is that? Well, if you check out what happened in the previous cycle, Bitcoin dominance still continued to go up at the beginning of November, and it actually started going down at the end of November. So, you know, if we are copying what we did over there, then it's very likely that we continue to go up, and maybe we even go above the 0.618 extension. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Now, if we look at the 2016 cycle, it's a different story, because as you can see in 2016, yes, we did go up in July, August, September, and October. But as you can see, what happened after that is not similar to the 2020 cycle. As you can see, in November, we actually did absolutely nothing. We just went sideways. And then we dropped in December. And this is what started the altcoin season of 2016. So I don't know which path we will follow. And honestly, maybe we'll not follow any of these paths. Maybe we'll do something entirely different. And I mean, we are already doing something different. We are closer to the 0.618 extension than we were in the previous cycles. So yeah, the cycles are not repeating, but they look very similar. And there are some patterns that are just repeating, like Bitcoin dominance is always going down in November and stuff like that. Now, if you look at the monthly RSI of Bitcoin dominance, as you can see, we are not overbought on the monthly yet, so maybe we'll continue going up until we go to the overbought territory. But of course, this has not updated, so we don't really know what the RSI on the monthly is. We'll find out at the beginning of November, so yeah, we'll see what happens in November. If we do not start some kind of pullback by, let's say, November 14th or so, then it's very likely that Bitcoin dominance continues to go up until 64% or so, and then we get the altcoin season. Because like I said, we do not have to copy exactly what we did in the previous cycle. We could do something entirely different, and honestly, it would be okay, as long as Bitcoin does not drop, because if Bitcoin drops, I mean, that will literally kill some altcoins. Now, I don't think Bitcoin will drop because at the end of the day, Bitcoin does not really go down in Q4 like ever. So it's very unlikely that we get a correction on the Bitcoin chart. And as you can see, Bitcoin is currently looking very good. It's almost at a new all-time high. So keep an eye on that. And it also broke above this trend line right here, which is very bullish. We finally stopped going sideways, which is even better. And we formed a 1-2 setup right here after we got this snow. And then after that, we form another A-B structure of this 1-2 setup and of this third wave. And right now we are working on the C wave. And I called this C wave to the upside right here when we were at about 58K. So I knew something like this would happen. And what do you know? It's happening. And I still expect the C wave to get to around $80,000 to finish this third wave before we get a fourth and then a fifth wave to 100K, and I expect Bitcoin to hit 100K by the end of the year. And as you know, when Bitcoin goes up and Bitcoin dominance is up, altcoins do not really go up that much. So this is the reason your altcoins are not going up. And if you look at the Cardano chart, for example, this does not look good at all when you compare it to the Bitcoin chart. And that's only because Bitcoin dominance is currently at a new cycle high. So don't worry, your altcoins will still get their time to shine in this cycle. Now, of course, that's not financial advice. You should do your own research. And obviously, not all altcoins will go to the moon in this cycle. There will be a few exceptions. But, that always happens. And speaking of Cardano, as you can see, Cardano is currently in a 1-2 setup, and we need a third wave for that. And what usually triggers a third wave, you might wonder? Well, it's actually Bitcoin dominance going down. If you check out what happened in the previous cycle, when we got a third wave on the Cardano chart and on many other charts as well, this is when Bitcoin dominance was actually dropping like crazy, and this is when most people actually got into crypto. So people did not get into crypto down here. No, they got into crypto maybe up here or even up here. And right now, I still believe we are early. Right now, we're right here, which means we're literally right here at this point of the cycle. So you are still early, but you cannot have to hurry up, in my opinion, if you don't want to lose the train. Because, it's not going to wait for you. And once the altcoin season starts, and once this third wave starts and we get another third wave in this cycle, then, like I said, the altcoins will not wait for you, and in my opinion, and again, this is not financial advice, you will regret not buying down here. Now, let's look at some other altcoins. ICP is also in a very nice looking 1-2 setup, and this also needs a third wave move to the outside. So if you look at most altcoins actually are in a 1-2 setup, like I said, and most of them need a third wave. So it's very likely that it will happen. And Near is also in a 1-2 setup. Chainlink is also in a 1-2 setup. Dogecoin is also in a 1-2 setup. And also, Dogecoin is actually bouncing it out more than the other altcoins. And this is very interesting because, as you know, in the bull market, the meme coins go up first and then the altcoins follow. So this is a good sign. And in my opinion, this shows us that something very bullish is about to happen. And of course, there are some other altcoins that are still in a second wave move down. For example, AVAX as well, and VeChain, and Jasmy, and some other altcoins as well. So yeah, I'm expecting Bitcoin to get to about 200K in this cycle, maybe 255K. And if that happens, then of course your altcoins will most likely go up another 10x from where they're at right now. If we get an altcoin season and if Bitcoin dominance drops like 10 to 15 to 20% in the cycle, if that does not happen, then yeah, your altcoins will most likely not go up that much. But in my opinion, it will happen, and again, that's not financial advice, that's just looking at the chart and judging it by what happened in the past and using technical analysis. So yeah, even though it sounds crazy, Bitcoin can still touch the 255k level in the cycle, and like I said, if that happens, then you can expect the next altcoin season to be very, very crazy, and when it does start, it will not stop for a long time. So yeah, that's all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out our gold memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.